it's time for the Yak Gear Rigs and Techniques here. Dave, you know, every week we talk about some really cool stuff. Can't wait to hear what you got to say.
Well, you know, there's a lot of good piers in Texas. Pirates Landing, Galveston, Rockport Pier, Indian Point. There's quite a few of them down there. So, you know, you can probably get one pretty close to where your area is, although Texas is big. So you might have to drive a little while sometimes. But, you know, a pier is a great place because it is actually a big fish magnet on its own. You know, all those piers go on down into the water. They grow, you know, marine growth on there, which attracts little fish, which attracts big fish. So anytime you find a pier, it's a good place to go. You want a nice combo like some of the ones we have up here, you know, with longer rods, 7.5 to 8 feet, because you want to cast a little ways a lot of times. You know, you're not only casting to get out to the fish, but you're trying to get past the fellas you're fishing with. You know, if you can go that little extra bit, you might get the bite when he will not. You know, these are Penn Spin Fisher 5s. We have a medium and a medium heavy. The IPX5 sealed body and spool GNC. You know, the CNC gears, brass main bearings in there. Just a really good saltwater rod. Both those are actually, that's the medium heavy right there. Right. You know, you'd bring 2 rods because one rod you're going to be using to throw small things. Right. You know, your baits and your spoons and your topwater plugs and whatnot. And then your bigger rod will be your bait rod, maybe having a big chunk on there for a big black drum or a big redfish or, you know, a shark even.
So now that we established the rod we're going to use, what are we going to put on it?
Well, we're going to put some Berkeley X5 on there. It's really good for your, you know, strength and abrasion resistance. A good 20-pound, 30-pound braid should catch everything on the pier that you need to catch. It's more round and easier to throw. And I like to use fluorocarbon leader. Even in the cloudy surf, you know, and stuff, I'll use fluorocarbon if I can because it just works better.
Then you're going to put on the end?
You know, there's so many things. A bucktail jig is great around a pier. A gotcha is great around the pier. You know, the little gotchas are heavy. They cast a long way. Very erratic action. They look like a silver sides or a little minnow, which, you know, really gets a lot of attention. I also like to use the Savage Gear, you know, one of these panic poppers. They're really good because, you know, they get a lot of attention on the surface as well, you know, and they cast a long way. They're made for casting a good long ways. Maximum spit on that front there and really heavy hooks.
Okay, what else?
Well, I like to use fish bites, obviously, on a jig. If you know, a jig head, you know, with any kind of paddle tail on there or an artificial shrimp, they go a long way, and the fish bites with that extra scent on there really does a good job. You can actually put that under a popping cork too, you know, and get bites around a pier or,
Good stuff.
And you know, you can use, we were talking about using a live shrimp or a dead shrimp. Those Savage Gear shrimp, they work as well too. They work great under a popping cork or by themselves on just a regular.
So Dave, what's the mistake people make on the piers or fishing under docks?
Well, a lot of guys don't use heavy enough line. Guys will show up with, you know, 8-pound or 10-pound test monofilament on their bass stuff. Yeah. And that's not going to do it on a pier a lot of times. A lot of times they can, you know, big fish can come down through there and you can hear them pinging, ping, 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 breaking off all those fellas who didn't bring heavy enough stuff. And not bringing wire because a lot of times bluefish and Spanish mackerels and even king mackerels, you can catch them off piers. If the mackerels and the bluefish and the toothy critters come through and you're only using monofilament leader, you're going to lose a lot of stuff. So a good single strand wire, you know, 60 to 80-pound test is going to catch everything on a pier, and they'll still eat it. You know.
Yeah, you don't want to be known as the Russian angler on the pier, Sir Alexander Popov.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you don't want to be.
Good job.